Is it the right time for you as a freelancer or business owner to rent a studio or office space? I'm not going to give you the answers, but I am going to give you the questions. Let's go. Hello friends, my name is Matt Brunton. I'm a designer from the north of England. Welcome back to Flux, all you regulars, and if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Now today we're going to be thinking about office space or studio space for the designers. Is this something that you need, and is it the right time for you to do it? Now there was once upon a time when renting an office was the next step for a business. It was a sign of legitimacy. But that's no longer the case. There are huge businesses that have been remote first. They've been remote from the beginning and they have international teams, and it is a totally viable way of doing things. So how do you know if it's the right thing for you or not? Here are some of the questions, and these will just help you think it through. So number one, where will I be less distracted? So at home, there are a lot of distractions. I've got 3 little kids, so if I'm at home, there's going to be constant distractions. And maybe for you, it's that extra snack, or maybe putting on the console for a while, doing a little bit of gaming, or cleaning and keeping up with chores. But equally, the office has a lot of distractions too, and people often forget the amount of interruptions that we get in the office from co-workers. That person who's like, please can you come and fix the printer? Or can I just get your opinion on this? Or can we just have 5 minutes to discuss? And on it goes. So there can be a lot of distractions, also the distractions of the noise and of other people working. If you're by yourself, you're able to set your own environment. So think about where you'll be less distracted. And number 2, think about where you'll be most productive. There might be certain things that you need. You're going to need good internet speeds, but you might also need access to certain equipment. If you're in a design studio, you might have the Pantone swatches or the scalpels and all the books and the library, the different printmaking resources. So there are certain things that you might need for your job that are hard to replicate or you don't have access to at home. So think about where you'll be less distracted and think about where you'll be more productive. And number 3, ask yourself, do I need the space? So you might again have physical gear that is huge. You might need space for big printers. You might be shooting video and you want some depth, or same for photography. You'll need a bit of space for all the equipment and for the depth of field in your shots. So you might need space for gear and you might need space for people. If you're going to be more productive working together as a team in person, then you're going to need physical space. And certain employees also are hard to employ at home. Maybe more experienced people might have their own setup. They might have room or space at home for a home office. But if you're employing an apprentice or maybe a junior, they probably don't have their own equipment. They might need a little bit more supervision. So you might not have space or want to bring them to your home. And it might be that you need that physical space to stretch out a little bit. Number 4, can I afford it? This is an important one. The way to figure this out is firstly, do a budget for your business, not as it is now, but as it would be in that studio or office space if you're not currently renting one. And figure out what your costs are going to be, and think not only about rent, but also all the upfront costs like deposits and furniture, legal fees. And then also when you move in, on top of rent, you'll have costs for your internet and your other utilities. You might start bringing in food, more peripherals. There's costs maintaining equipment that you're going to have to think about. So figure out what your budget will be at that point in the future, and also make sure you're on a solid foundation to begin with, which means if you're a freelancer or within your business account, you want to have about 3 to 6 months of operating expenses. So you're not running so close to zero, and make that your baseline so that you've got some cash in the bank and you know what your costs are going to be, and then you know that you can definitely afford it, and it's going to be a blessing and not a curse once you move in. The next question is, what is available in my area? So you want to think about locally, or perhaps where you can attract talent. Are there good options? So do you have good options for spaces? Can you get the right vibe? Maybe you want that loft with the brick walls, or maybe you want a gallery white box. I don't know, but whatever is right for you, is that option available in your area? The space is the size that you need, the price that you need, and the quality and the vibe and the atmosphere that you need. What is available for you? Would you be siloed in your own space, or would you be perhaps part of a larger business center? So what are the options? Evaluate what's there locally, and think about as well if you want to just be attracting talent locally, because if you want to be growing your team and working with people, then if you work remote, you have the whole world. Whereas if you work only locally, you have obviously a smaller pool to draw from. So you might want to do a hybrid scenario, but think about and research, have a look at what the options are in your area. And think about, with that distance as well, the next question: how will the commute affect me? How will the commute affect you? Now, it's maybe obvious, first of all, that commutes can be a negative thing. So it's just time out of your day, and it's stress, it's traffic, it's a cost. But as well as the time and the cost, sometimes the commute can be helpful because it can be a little break in between the office and home life. If you're shutting down your computer or closing the door to the home office, or just maybe stepping away from the dining table if you're hunched over it with your laptop and that's your scenario, then switching from that straight into your life as perhaps a housemate or a wife or a husband, a mother or a father, that can be difficult. And sometimes the commute just gives you that little bit of distance. And sometimes if everything's at home, you're always accessible. So at 9 p.m. on a Friday night, you're sending that file to a client. And if it's at the office, it might be a little bit easier to have more of a separation between the two. Next, ask yourself what the team will gain or lose from working in person. So perhaps you don't have a team now, but that might be an aspiration. It might just be that you bring in freelancers, or you collaborate with people ad hoc, or you might want to grow a staff team. What will they gain from working together and collaborating by being in the same room? But what will they also lose through the space and the autonomy and maybe their own happiness and their preferences of working from home? Or perhaps you think you can create a great culture and a great well-being environment in the office. So it's important for you to establish that in a physical location. So think about how it will affect not just you as the business owner, but also how it will affect your team. Also think about, I've got a few more, what opportunities will having an office give me? So there may be things that you've not thought about yet. For example, if you're part of a business center or a co-working space, other businesses in that same space might become clients, or they might become suppliers. You might find a great lawyer, a great accountant, a great photographer. They might require your services. It might just help you become more networked in your city, in your region. So there may be opportunities that open up from having a physical location. Perhaps if you're in a retail space or close to one, you may be able to diversify and open some other opportunities. It might be that you never thought of having a photography studio, but now you're in a physical space, you can have that open to you as well. So think about what opportunities may arise for your business. And that might also be an expectation. So ask yourself, what do my customers expect? Do they expect me to have a physical office? And is that something that I can explain to them, that I can talk to them about if I want to be remote? And maybe they just need educating and they're not aware of how many companies are working remote now and how efficient we can be. Or is it something that is going to be necessary for the type of clients you serve? The penultimate question to ask yourself is, how do I see the future? Think not just about the next 6 months, but the next 2, 5, or 10 years. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be a solo freelancer and have the autonomy that comes with that? Or do you want to build a remote team that's distributed over the world? Or do you want to have a team that works together in person? and the collaboration benefits you might see from that? Do you want to build this incredible creative space that's a hub for your city with photography studios, video spaces, graphic design suites, creative collaboration, meeting zones? What is the future for you? Think about what that looks like, the environment you want to be in, and is the step you're taking now a step towards that or a step away from that? And before I give you the last question to think through, I just want to really encourage you to check out Flux Academy's freelancing and business program, the 6-Figure Freelancer. Now, I've had the privilege to look inside this program, and what amazed me was that what I worked through with a business coach over several months at a cost of thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars is covered in the first 2 of 12 modules in this course. Now, I've been working in the design industry for 17 years and I'm really impressed by the content here. It will really help you level up. If you want to go to the next level in your freelancing, in your business, then definitely check this out and just see if it's for you. So there's a link in the description so you can find out more about that. And the last question to think through, if you're wondering, is this the right time to step out and get that studio space and get that office, is, am I doing this for the right reasons? Don't make your decision based on fear, based on the expectations of others, based on some sort of perceived status. But make sure you're making it for the right decisions, because this is where you want to be. And this is the best decision for your future, for your business, and for your team. So think through these 10 questions, plus the extra question, am I doing it for the right reason? And hopefully this has helped you think through what is the best step for you when it comes to your location. If this has been helpful, or if you have any other tips, comments, let us know down in the comments. I'd love to jump in there and chat to you, and we look forward to hanging out with you soon.